What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Azkhalon, and welcome back to another College Football 25 video. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about all of the players in the game that you can edit for Dynasty mode. So I made a video about a month ago talking about how to kind of create a player, and I put that in quotes because you can't technically create a player in the game. So any of the players in the game that are not the NIL opted in players, you could go in before you go into Dynasty mode and you can make some changes to them. But I want to share all of the different players in the game that you can edit. I want to talk about, several of the teams in the different conferences. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Let's go. If you're an old head like me, then you're used to being able to edit players in what used to be the NCAA football franchise. And now it's, of course, the college football franchise. And so a lot of people, want to be able to have full control of that. Well, the NIL stuff has kind of changed that, but there are still some players on each team that did not opt in. And so EA created these like randomly generated players. I'm assuming they were random, although some of the names are a little suspect, and we'll get into that in a little bit. And so any of those players, you can go in and change their name, change their attributes and various things. So we're going to start with the ACC conference. And what you're going to realize is that your bigger teams probably will have less players that you can edit. So if you're a fan of like some top-notch teams, you may not have a whole lot of players to be able to edit. Whereas the smaller teams tend to have more players that are available. So as you can see here on my spreadsheet, there are two teams that you can't edit any of the players, and that's Virginia Tech and Wake Forest. So sorry to the fans of those teams. There are no players that you can edit. All of their players have opted in. And I went through and made this spreadsheet myself, so I might have made some mistakes. So you guys feel free to double check and just make sure. And please let me know, drop a comment below. Let me know if I made any mistakes, like if I included the wrong player on here or if I didn't include a player that you can actually edit. But Wake Forest and Virginia Tech, no editable players. You can see bigger teams like Clemson, Florida State. They have, although Florida State's not doing too well in real life, sorry, Seminoles fans, but you can see they only have, Clemson has 3 and Florida State has 4 players that you can edit. I have not included the numbers on the spreadsheet. I've been thinking about going back and doing that because that's one thing that you can't change. And I don't think with any of the recent updates, you can change their actual numbers. So I'm thinking about going back on the spreadsheet and adding their numbers to it so you know what number they have going into it. But most of the things you can change about the players. One team that shocked me in the ACC was Louisville. They have a good amount of players that you can edit. And they're one of those bigger teams that actually shocked me with the amount of players that they have on their roster that you can edit. So you can see Louisville there. So that's the ACC. And then in the American Conference, it was weird because Army started out with a lot of players that you can edit, and they still have a decent amount, but they've lost quite a bit as more players opted in. And I thought it was interesting how the military schools kind of had, a lot of players originally that you can edit. Tulsa has a good amount, and Charlotte as well. South Florida and Memphis and Rice, which Rice, surprisingly, they don't have a whole lot of players for you guys to edit, and neither does Navy, which is another huge shocker. Navy does not have a whole lot of players available for editing. So it seemed like originally these military schools, the people didn't opt in, but then they kind of went back and changed their minds. So there's the American Conference. So every team in the American Conference has at least a few players for you to edit. All right, moving over to the Big Ten. Michigan, no players you can edit. So if you're a Michigan fan, sorry. Ohio State only has one, this right end named Tyler Bourne. So there you go if you're an Ohio State fan. Iowa also only has one. Purdue has 3. The teams with the most, as you can see, Minnesota has a good amount. Washington has a good amount as well. USC surprisingly has 8 players there that you can edit. So that kind of shocked me a little bit. Rutgers has a decent amount. Penn State, Northwestern, and Wisconsin as well for you guys to edit. But Michigan is the only one in the Big Ten that doesn't have any. And I think Michigan, Wake Forest, and Virginia Tech, if I remember correctly, are the only teams that don't have any that you can edit. I think every other team has at least one, if I remember. All right, the Big 12. Kansas only has 2. So does Central Florida. They only have 2. Houston has the most players to edit in the Big 12. Arizona State, Baylor, and Utah have a decent amount as well. West Virginia only has 3, and so does TCU. So, and Oklahoma State. So if you want to edit some players for the Big 12, those are your options. Conference USA, Kennesaw State shocked me. They only have 2 players that did not opt in. So there's only 2 editable players on their roster. Sam Houston as well doesn't have that much either. FIU and UTEP, they have the most for you to edit in Conference USA if you're looking for that. In the independent conference, well, it's not a conference, but the independent teams, Notre Dame only has 3 players to edit. UConn has a decent amount. UMass has the most. So if you're looking to play as an independent team in your dynasty rebuilds or whatever, UMass is a good option to be able to edit a certain amount of players. And you can also edit new recruits when they come in as well. Onto your team. I think you got to secure them first though. Like you can't edit them during the recruiting process or anything like that. All right, looking at the MAC, one thing I want to point out. So the MAC probably is the conference that all around has the most players to edit. So again, if you're doing any rebuilds and stuff, this is the conference to look at. They all have at least about at least 6 or 7 on each team. But the reason why I said earlier that some of these players might not be randomly generated by AI, look at Ball State's right tackle right there, Chris Redfield, who, if you know anything about the Resident Evil franchise, and if you're a gamer, you know about Resident Evil, whether you've played the games or not. I'm sure you've probably heard of Chris Redfield, so I thought that was funny that the right tackle for Ball State, his name is Chris Redfield. I was like, EA, I think Capcom might have a problem with that. So I wanted to point that out, so that was pretty funny. But Miami, Ohio, and Eastern Michigan, they have the most. But Akron, Kent State, Ball State, Ohio, Western Michigan, they all have a good amount. So the MAC conference is definitely the conference if you're doing any rebuilds and you want to edit players that are not opting in. You have the most options, you know, available to you for each team there. The Mountain West has a good amount as well. Fresno State is they have the least. They only have 2. But look at Air Force. Air Force still has a lot of players, and the list has shrunk some since the game first came out. I think there were at least like 6 or 7 more players available on Air Force, but the list is still pretty long. So Air Force has a lot of players that you can go in and edit. So that might be a good one to start with. San Jose State, if you look there too, they got a good amount as well. Wyoming does, so does Hawaii. So again, for those type of rebuilds in Dynasty that you want to do, those are your teams. Colorado State doesn't have a whole lot, but they have 5 players that you can edit. Pac-12, just those 2 teams as of right now. I think some of the Mountain West teams are moving to the Pac-12 starting. I guess it will be next season. I don't know. I've seen the news, but I haven't looked much into it. But Oregon State has a good amount, and then Washington State has 4 that you can edit for the Pac-12. SEC, surprisingly, has the least amount of players that you can edit because the SEC is the best conference in college football. I will die on that hill. I will not hear any arguments to the contrary. You know, now that we got Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC, it is definitely the best conference. No questions. Although a few of the teams are kind of struggling, like Georgia. Well, Georgia played Kentucky, which is another SEC team, because the SEC teams can beat you on any given day. Georgia kind of struggled with them yesterday. I think Mississippi State had a huge loss yesterday. I'm filming this on September 15th, so I'm talking about the games that took place, you know, on September 14th. But Florida doesn't have any players that you can edit. Tennessee and Texas both have only 1. LSU has 2. Arkansas has 2. And then the rest of the schools got 3 or more there. Vanderbilt, of course, and Texas A&M, they have the most available for editing. So the SEC is not the best conference for you to find players to edit if you're looking to edit, you know, multiple teams in the conference, various things like that. So definitely would not recommend the SEC, even though it is the best conference in college football. I can just picture the Ohio State fans leaving my video at this point. It seems like Ohio State fans are, you know, I don't want to say the worst, because I like Ohio State. Okay, I don't dislike the team or anything, but they are the most vocal about how the SEC is not the best conference. So at least from what I've seen. So yeah, I'm sure some of them probably left, but don't leave, because I'm gonna tell you in just a moment where you can find this spreadsheet so you can make use of it. And then the Sun Belt Conference, just like the MAC, you got a good variety of players to edit for each team. Southern Miss, Old Dominion, and App State, they only have 5 players. But the rest, as you can see, they got a good amount. South Alabama has the most. So that's pretty cool there if you want to do a rebuild with South Alabama. South Alabama actually has some talent. Their quarterback, Gio Lopez, I got to coach against him when he was in middle school. And he single-handedly beat my team that I was coaching when he was in middle school, and he's doing a pretty good job as the starting quarterback for South Alabama. So I'm interested in following his career and kind of seeing, what happens with his career with South Alabama. But yeah, Sun Belt also has a good amount of players and also some good teams for rebuilds like Georgia State, Georgia Southern, various teams like that. So that's my spreadsheet. That's the editable players in College Football 25. Now, you guys are probably wondering, where can you find this spreadsheet? It's pretty obvious. So if you made it this far in the video, you probably have already noticed, but there's a link in the description to the video. And so you can open up this Google Sheets and you will have access to all of the players, their position, their name. Like I said, I'm thinking about going back and putting the numbers in there for you guys, so that way if you want to create just like one player on a particular team and you're looking for a particular number or something close to that number, you'll know which player has that number. And the cool thing about it is you can change their positions and stuff like that. They might look a little funky if you change the offensive lineman to like a cornerback. I can't remember if you can change their physique or not. I guess I should have looked into that before I made this video, but I wanted to get it out. I finished the spreadsheet about a week ago, but I wanted to go ahead and share it with you guys because I had originally started it when the game first came out, and then I kind of had a few teams that I didn't finish in a couple of conferences, and I waited until after the recent update that added more opted-in players, and so then I went through and I finished every team. But every team is available on here. Again, in the spreadsheet, they're separated by conference down at the bottom, and the conferences are in alphabetical order. That way it can help you find whatever team you're looking for really quickly. But yeah, the link to that spreadsheet is down in the description of this video, so check it out. If you like this video, y'all, if the spreadsheet helps you, because I know there are several people. I actually posted a link to this in this Facebook group that I'm a part of for College Football 25. There's one guy was looking that he was like, is there a list of the players that you can edit? And I was like, I got you. So I'm just so grateful that this list is helping people have fun with this game with the limited amount of editing players that we can do, because the NIL stuff has changed so much. So if you like this video, definitely hit that like button so more people can see it. Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about the players that you can edit. Were you surprised by some of the teams, not having players that you can edit? I forgot Florida was on. Was it Florida? Was the fourth one? Yeah, I forgot about Florida because I thought it was just Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, and Michigan. But yeah, Florida as well. So were you surprised by that? Were you surprised by some of the trends, for the teams like the SEC not having a whole lot of players that you can edit? Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're new around here, check out all of my content. In addition to College Football 25 videos, like I got a Road to Glory series going for College Football 25. I have a couple of tutorial videos that you guys can check out. Some of you have been requesting that I make a video about how to be better at passing. That video is coming really, really soon, y'all. I'm a teacher, just started school about a month ago, and I've been so busy adjusting to being back into school, but I will make a video about some tips to help you with passing, because I still see those types of questions in the Facebook group that I'm a part of. But beside the College Football 25 videos, I do other gaming Let's Plays on my channel. I got some ranking videos that I've been making that's on my channel, and I want to do more of those. I got some other gaming types of videos, unboxing videos of video games monthly content. Got a variety of gaming content on my channel. So if you're digging it, definitely hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate that as well. And I will see you guys in another video. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. You could have been anywhere in the world playing College Football 25 yourself, but you chose to spend some time with your boy Azkhalon, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for the support. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. We're about a little over 200 out. So definitely hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in another video. Y'all take care. Peace.